Hey guys, it's Matthew here once again with Odie Stories Media. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. It is early Saturday morning, it's about 12:22 a.m. Uh, Thought we'd get a couple videos knocked out of the ballpark while I'm at it. Got one more pen to review and then, well, not review, but basically give my thoughts on. But I thought I'd do something a bit different here. Use my arm. And while the camera adjusts, I forgot to turn on one light. But so this here, a little while ago, I've been actively writing for, I don't know, for a while now. Doing some some writing exercises basically that the grief counselor gave me to do back in December of last year. It just kind of blew up, and I've been constantly doing that. Just recently stopped doing it. So, but anyway, enough of that. This here is a dollar store notebook. Um, you know, I've ripped off the price tag, but inexpensive. The paper's all right. It held up nicely with fountain pen use. And in this notebook, what I've basically done is I've written about what I like about fountain pens. Throughout the entire book, it's all about fountain pens. From, using the Mahjong P139 that I mentioned the other day, to the Asvine C80, to you name it, to my everyday go-to pen, which we will get to in a little while. But overall, everything that I like, everything I know about fountain pens, it's all in this one book. And I could easily fill up another book, or another notebook, sorry, about fountain pens. Really like the cover on this. This is basically a Van Gogh cover of the Starry Night. I have a poster in my living room. If you ever get a chance, in the exhibit where you basically get immersed by Van Gogh's paintings, go check it out. Really cool. I got a chance to go see that a few years ago with my mom. Pretty cool. But yeah, found these at the dollar store. I grabbed a few of them. And basically at the back here, finished August 5th, 2025. But yeah, overall, just writing down my thoughts about fountain pens, how I feel, what I like, what I dislike about fountain pens, and just why I use them every day. Um, you know, for the longest time, I get a fountain pen, and it just basically sit, collect dust. Wouldn't know what to do with it, but I wanted the pen, and it would just sit there, collect dust. Had really no reason to use it. So I really got to a point where I started basically getting rid of a lot of the pens that I had acquired. Just gave them away. Family, friends, whoever wanted them, just like, here, take this, or take that, take this. But this year, and basically a lot of 2024, I found a reason to start using the pens. And so basically I keep I keep a handful of pens on site at any given time. Um, and the pens I use are the ones that are the ones that appear on the channel. Um, if you've watched any of the other videos, those pens, unfortunately, they're no longer in existence. But the pens you're going to see this time around, these are the pens that I'm working with, and yeah. So, but um, but yeah, but what's really nice is like, there's not a whole lot of ghosting. Like, I mean, you can still see where the ink has come through on the paper here. But overall, I mean, it's not bad paper. I think this is one of the fastest notebooks that I've completed in basically no time flat. Um, here's one about the Pilot Custom 74. That's a pen I'm still currently using. It's been inked up again. That one's just right next to the Pilot Custom 823. But like I said, it just goes right through. Here's the Asvine pens that were reviewed yesterday. This is about the 1.1 stub. Um, but yeah, so the beginning of the book, this was all written with the Visconti Homo sapiens. I think I got about 3 pages out of that pen, or maybe it was 4. Yeah, 3 pages in total. So, and then it goes into, and then I switch over to another pen. This is all written with the Pilot 823, and 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 I talk about what I like, what I like about using these pens, how I feel about using them, um, you know, and so on. Like towards the end, then I change over to Wisby Diamond 580, and yeah. So you know, and 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 for me, it was an exercise that I didn't have to do, but I wanted to do it, kind of thing. Like I knew I was going to get back into this at some point. I knew I was going to start filming at some point, and I guess I just didn't know when I was going to film. Up until we did that community post a few days ago that said we were going to start knocking out videos again and getting them edited and wanting to get them posted by the first Friday in September. Um, but yeah, so a really good exercise. You know, it gives me an excuse to use the pens every day, and I have. I really have. I've really started to use the pens. Really starting to use the pens that I have on hand, um, exclusively every day. If I don't use them one day, then I'll use them the next. And yeah, but like all the notebooks that I've used with my fountain pens, um, are all basically dollar store based fountain pens. Um, and it's a shame, as much as I want to use my favorite online pen retailer. They're located in the States, but however, because of who's in the White House and the tariffs, I'm just not willing to deal with that, and I'm not willing to spend money for in a country that wants to try and dictate how the trade markets are going to work, and basically thinking that they're going to get something way better than what it's been negotiated already in this president's first term. But it is what it is. So yeah, it's a shame. Um, but ideally, you know, I started looking elsewhere in other markets for stuff. Um, like China, UK, Switzerland, you name it. Basically, the European Union. Um, that's where I'm looking, like Applebaum, um, you name it. But anything that's retail based in the U.S., it's just a no go. So basically, that leaves out Goulet, um, Gold Spot, Pen Chalet, Jet Pens. Um, Not happening. I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna do that. And and I know you might be thinking, well, that's kind of a dick move to do. But hey, you know what? I It is what it is. Um, but being Canadian, you know what? There's a pen store right here. We're like literally 45 minutes down the QEW that I could easily just order online from. It might cost more, but hey, you know what? What the heck? At least I won't have to pay the tariffs or customs and duties, whatnot. But anyway, enough of that. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I know it ended up in being a rant. But yeah, overall, a dollar store notebook. Um, Basically on why I like to use fountain pens. And uh, and a matter of weeks, filled the notebook, and I've got a ongoing record of how I feel about certain pens, the pens I've used, why I like using them, and yeah. So thank you so much for tuning into this video. Hope you found it useful, and I'll see you again in our next video. Bye, guys.